Here, for the last 14 years, Benveniste has headed a 40-strong team of doctors and scientists doing groundbreaking research into allergies. His problems began 10 years ago when one of his teams started research into homeopathy. In the light of later events, he feels the need to declare his original skepticism.
My usual joke about this is that the first time I heard the word homeopathy, I thought it was a sexual disease. It's going too far because I knew barely what was homeopathy, but I am the most classical MD and the most classical scientist and the most rationalistic person you can find.
Homeopathy is a branch of alternative medicine which is widely available in France. But in fact, few doctors prescribe it because its medicines are based on a theory conventional science says is wholly irrational. Homeopaths believe that the more a medicine is diluted, the more effective it becomes. To make their remedies, their drugs are repeatedly diluted in water and shaken in a special way. Often the medicines are so dilute they end up as little more than water. So why on earth did Benveniste think it worth investigating?
The story is the following. There was an MD in my lab who was doing classical research also. And once he told me that he was an homeopathic doctor. And I said, fine. Then he came back and he said, do you mind if I try to dilute some of our reagents and see if they do something on cells? And I remember vividly, that was 1982 or 83, that I told him, okay, look, do it, but this is water. It's going to do nothing.
But puzzlingly, the researchers' initial tests showed an effect. So Benveniste put one of his best technicians onto it, Elizabeth Davenant. She was skilled in a technique developed by Benveniste himself, using an allergen, like this anti-serum, to test people's blood for allergies. So Benveniste asked her to dilute the anti-serum in exactly the way homeopaths make their remedies, by successive dilutions in water, interspersed by vigorous shaking. The shaking, say homeopaths, energizes the water. But as at each stage the solution is diluted by a factor of 10, after the second dilution it's 100 times weaker, and 1 billion by the 9th. In fact, above the 20th there's literally nothing left of the original starting substance. Benveniste then asked for the highest dilutions to be added to the blood samples. If someone's allergic, particular blood cells called basophils will explode or degranulate on contact with an allergen, releasing histamine. But now that the allergen had been so highly diluted, Benveniste was sure his top assistant would see nothing. But astonishingly, she recorded almost as many cells degranulated by the homeopathic dilutions as by the original full-strength allergen.
The very first thought was that there was an error. But when I got the second set of data, I had the feeling of setting the foot in a completely unknown world, something that was so strange that I couldn't even envision what was going on. We know that there is nothing that can make basophils degranulate by themselves. And therefore, if they were degranulating, if they were disappearing, is that something specific happened to them. But this something specific was water, and this was flabbergasting.
Unable to ignore such extraordinary results and his natural scientific curiosity aroused, Benveniste ordered an in-depth program of research to get to the bottom of it all.
After 2 or 3 years of experiments, we reached the conclusion that we could indeed obtain specific biological activity with a trigger that had been diluted billion times, for example. So there was no possibility that any molecule could survive in this solution. Therefore, we had to envision the fact that everything was going on as if water was capable of memorizing the molecule it had seen at the beginning of the dilution. And billions and billions and billions of dilution after, it still knew with some process that it had seen that molecule. And hence was coined the expression, the memory of water.
Polémique autour d'une découverte faite par un Français, le professeur Benveniste.
In France, the memory of water became a media sensation.